Welcome back to YourPapi.net. This is Papi. Travis checking in with you again with some good information. Got a couple of questions that came in through text from a couple of my friends. They said I've talked a lot about the first dimension of Papi, but they want to know a little bit more about the second dimension of Papi because they're thrown off by the title of the dimension being called husbandry. If you look at Webster's dictionary, this is exactly as it's defined, the archaic definition, the care of a household, the control or judicious use of resources, conservation, cultivation and production of plants or animals, agriculture, the scientific control and management of a branch of farming and especially domestic animals. Um, Domestic animals, husbandry, how does that relate to being a good father and a husband? Poppy's second dimension um, actually captures that entire definition if you utilize it in today's lifestyle and society. So let's talk about really what it's getting at. And that first definition was the care of the household. My father always ensured that I knew how to take care of a house. Um, we were always fixing something, making it better. Always got to see the example of my father working on things like the water heater. He would make sure I saw how to take care of a water heater or the water tank. We put in new floors in the house that I grew up in. We placed linoleum down because couldn't afford anything else. We put up tile. We put up cabinets. We put up countertops. We built decks. We built porches. He showed me how to ensure to keeping the grass cut, cutting limbs and hedges and trimming, just make sure your house is taken care of. And to me, that embodies what it is to be a husband and actually applies to that definition of husbandry. Um, Here's some other things too, which is great about that. Not only was my father an example, but my grandfather and my uncles were great examples too. My grandfather always had me out cutting grass, ensuring that I knew how to, take care of his garden, to make sure that the trash was burned, to make sure there's nothing laying around that's going to cause, infestation. I had uncles who, made sure I knew how to get on top of the roofs and clean the gutters. So I was really blessed, and we've lost a lot of that with our society today with the lack of fathers and strong role models for men growing up in those single parent households. So, there's something that's being lost that we need to recapture. And I believe that, following these dimensions of parenting and also husbandry and sonship will help, bring that back. Um, Another thing is with the definition of husbandry, determined by Webster, it talks about the cultivation and the management of plants and animals. Uh, Too many people don't live on farms anymore. Back in the day, it used to be, hey, down the street was the farm. Down the street there was another farm. Everyone had their own farm. So instead of dealing with livestock and farming and animals and crops, it's all about those sustainable goods that you need to obtain. And don't have farms anymore. So typically that takes care of itself by going to the grocery store, going to the market, going to maybe even barter with someone that might grow crops or has a farm. But the main thing is all about the acquiring of the resources, the managing of the allocation, and making sure there's equitable distribution among the family to make sure everyone has something to eat, everyone has their mouth full. And this is what it is to be a husband. This is what we have to do. So I like to refer to husbandry or Poppy's definition of husbandry as the art of being a husband. When I do all those things that I just spoke about, you know, my life, my house is all in order. And my wife notices that, and I get special kudos, if you know what I'm saying. But you always want to make sure you're just taking care of your family and making sure that you have all the things that you need to survive and for your family to sustain. My mom used to have a special mantra: if you're gonna be a man, be a man. And that still resonates with me today. I can still hear it and see it. But it's all about providing for your family. I have this image of still my dad in his 20s, young man, still need coaching on how to be a man and how to be a father. Can you imagine being 20 and having a son? I mean, I can't do it. And I had my children at 29 and 30. So thinking about being 20 and things that I was doing, I probably would need someone to reel me in every now and then. But just to see my father hear that, and you probably think he's henpecked. You're gonna be a man, be a man. You know what? Here's a little sidebar. All men are henpecked, okay? um, doesn't mean you're less of a man at all. It probably means you're more if you keep your mouth shut and, just make your wife happy. Happy wife, happy life. So, I'll say that for another post. But when I would see my father go into action after hearing that, I would say to myself, there goes a man. And, thanks, Pop, for being a great example of, what a husband is, uh, the art of husbandry. So to wrap things up, Pop believes that husbandry is an art, and bringing it full circle, here is a piece from my own father. It's totally awesome. I didn't know his skills went this far. With all the times of parenting me, he sacrificed his gifts of being an artist. And then, he had some time on his hand when he had knee surgery to regain his expertise. And so this is one of his first piece, and it's properly titled "Man of the House." So enjoy this piece, and who's your Papi?